Now, here's the latest in agriculture news from the Rural Radio Network.
The Nebraska volleyball team recently enjoyed a 5-course beef meal organized by Anna Kobza. She's a digital creator and Ph.D. student at the University of Nebraska-Lincoln. That event aimed to connect Husker Athletics with Nebraska beef production.
A beef eating experience, I guess you could call it, where I took the Husker volleyball team to Casa Bovina here in Lincoln. And I had the chef create a menu that highlighted different ways to enjoy beef. So it was an all beef menu all the way down to the dessert. And we got to enjoy those together and kind of gather around that table in the spirit of fellowship and community and share a little bit about what I do and why I felt the pull to share this with them.
Well, tell me a little bit more about that desire to have this experience from your perspective. Why did you want to get in front of them, and what was the message you hope to share with them?
Yeah, well, whether they know it or they don't, a lot of Husker volleyball fans are rural Nebraskans who are big fans, but also big supporters and contributors to Nebraska Athletics. And I was hoping that through this experience, perhaps our Nebraska beef producers could see that their home team enjoys their product, and because of that, hopefully make them feel seen and feel valued in our state.
Now for the important question, Anna. It was a 5-course meal, all beef, down to the dessert. What was on the menu in particular, from the appetizer to the dessert, to make it all about beef?
Yep. So we started the first course. Well, we started with some salumi boards. So they had different beef sausages and cheese and crackers and things like that. And then we started with a beef short rib cappuccino, which was made with basically beef broth and some mushroom froth that looks like a little cappuccino. And that was really good. A lot of the girls really enjoyed that. We followed it up with some beef tartare, which was pretty well liked amongst most of the group. But I myself am not a huge raw meat fan, so I tried it. I did my part, but it wasn't my favorite dish. And then we moved on to bone marrow that they served out of an actual bone. And some of the girls really loved it. Some of them didn't, but it was an interesting dish, that's for sure. And then lastly, we actually moved on to a family style course of different steaks. We had New York strips, some ribeyes, a filet, and then we also had 90-day dry aged steak versus grain finished or grass finished. So they got to try several different steaks and how different ways of production and ways of processing that beef can affect the outcome of the flavor and eating experience. And then the last course dessert was gelato, which was made with beef fat and bourbon and burnt sugar. So it was really good.
Yeah, that sounds delicious. Well, Anna, of course, this is a great opportunity. It sounds like a good outreach with the Nebraska volleyball team, the Nebraska athletic program, or the volleyball team, I should say, able to share some of the experiences on their social media pages. I guess from your perspective, why is this outreach important, specifically with the volleyball team, and where do you hope this kind of connection goes moving forward?
Yeah, that's an excellent question. On my social media following, the reality of it is that a lot of the people who follow me, majority of them anyway, are involved in ag in some way, and so who support what I do. But for the audience that Nebraska volleyball caters to, they have a much wider audience and a much wider variety of people that follow them as well, likely people who aren't as involved in agriculture potentially as well. And they just have a much greater influence over those people than I do as an individual. So hopefully Nebraska volleyball supporting and enjoying beef influences other people who maybe are not so passionate about it or who are pretty indifferent to it. Maybe it will spark something in them to want to enjoy beef or get to know where their food comes from.
Now, Kobza says she has big plans in the works to build on this relationship, but they'll have to wait until the team finishes their upcoming volleyball season. Priorities, I suppose. That's a check of the latest in agriculture news from here inside the Nebraska Soybean Board Studio. For more, visit our website. It's krvn.com.